School taught you what to think, but nobody ever taught you how to think. And more importantly, nobody tell you or told you that there are actually different levels of thinking, different types of thinking that is happening inside your head right now. And most of us are stuck in the lowest one. So in this video we will gonna talk about thinkings and how and why we never told about how to think on things, and what is the great way to think on things. So let's talk about our two worlds inside our brain. So researchers discovered that our thinking actually has two dimension, not one. We know that we only think in one way, but it is not a truth. Thinking has two dimension. Most people only know about one, like first is cognitive process, that is basically how we think, and second is our knowledge dimension. So what type of thing you are thinking about, and when you combine both, you can literally map where your brain is living every single day. If you know this two modes or two worlds, you will know how to carry it through, and what to create with it, how to go through in your life with that two dimension of thinking. So stay tuned in this video. It will gonna be long. It has some heavy theories in this video. Be with me till the end to literally know about all of this stuff, all this stuff that is on thinking, and a lot of things that you don't know about thinking. So it is very necessary, it is important to know about all of this stuff and just apply that thing in your own life. So let's talk about let's combine this with neuroscience point of view. So your prefrontal cortex governs higher order thinking. It's the last part of the brain to fully develop. It generally develop at your 20s, or when you are in adulting, or when you are 25-22 year old. So that is the time that is where your prefrontal cortex is. In neuroscience there is cognitive load theory, and that is your brain deliberately avoids deep thinking to consume energy. That's why we don't unconsciously we don't give as much as energy on everything to think about on things, to get into deep on that stuff every time, because our body is not like that. There is cognitive load theory that is that talk about all of this stuff. And third thing is like, so most humans do lower order thinking, not because they are lazy, but because the brain is wired for survival, not analysis. So this cognitive load theory tell you that you can't deeply think on everything, because your body wants to conserve energy. So you can't think every time deeply in all of this stuff of your life. So that's why most of humans do lower order thinking, because we want to consume our energy. That is the thing, that is the part of the thinking. So we will gonna start it from here. So let's get into the knowledge dimension. I already told you about cognitive process, basically how you think, and second is our knowledge dimension. So in this video I talk about 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy that he talk about in his book. So we will gonna see that, and we will gonna see the 4 knowledge dimension thing, because it is very necessary to understand how you think about on all of this stuff. So have a basic knowledge of thing is necessary. That's why I'm talking about all of this stuff in this video, so you can know what I am from where I am coming from where all of this stuff, all of this thoughts is coming from. That's why I'm talking about all of this stuff. And I bet you never know about all of this stuff about from where we are coming from, if we are thinking on the stuff in our everyday life and we didn't know about all of this stuff. That's why I'm creating this video, to literally tell people about thinking, and about how just thinking about stuff is very deep, is very wired in us as a human. So yeah, if you really want to get benefit out of this stuff on thinking on things, you should know about all of this stuff. So let's get into our knowledge dimension. Before we ever get to how you think, we need to talk about what you are thinking about, because here's what's wild. Most people spend their entire lives thinking about one type of knowledge. That's why we need to talk about what you are thinking about in right now. So here comes the four knowledge dimension. First we will gonna talk about factual thinking. So it is a basic surface level facts that we remember the names of people, we remember the dates, definition of all of this stuff. So this is like Wikipedia level thinking. So you know that something exists. Most social media consumption lives here. Whatever we consume from social media, you scroll, you observe facts, you feel informed, but nothing actually changes in how you operate. So this is the factual thinking. If we see the example in our daily life, we can say that we can like I can give you this example to you, that knowing that exercise is good for you, knowing that communication matters in relationships. So this type of facts that you know about as your factual thinking. So our second is conceptual knowledge. So understand how things connect and relate to each other. This is where you start seeing patterns. You don't just know about the facts, you understand them. So you don't just know the fact, you know the system behind that thing. So most good students lives here, but even this isn't enough. In our daily life, if we see an example of conceptual knowledge, is like you read book, you get knowledge and connect it with your own life. So this is the stuff that we do in our daily life, that is connect with our conceptual knowledge that we have about things. Third is our procedural knowledge. So knowing how to actually do something step by step, you know the process of step by step, and this is the bridge between knowing and doing. So most self-help content knowing gives you factual and conceptual knowledge, but skips procedural knowledge. That's why you feel motivated for a week and then go backward to your normal state. So that is the thing that related to procedural knowledge. So it is like you actually know that you should have a morning routine habits, or you should have morning routine process, but you don't have any one. So this is the example of procedural knowledge. So fourth is our metacognitive knowledge. In this, you already know about metacognition. I already talked about in this concept in my previous video, that it is about awareness. It is like thinking about your own thinking is metacognition. So metacognition is when you step outside your own mind and watch yourself think about things. A study shows that metacognitive thinkers have stranger prefrontal cortex regulation. So in RBT, in rational behavioral therapy, the entire healing process starts here. If you can't observe thought pattern, then you can't change it. That's why it is very necessary for them to include this metacognition things in their process of healing, where they say that it is very important, that your observation skill is very important. So if you can observe something, you can also create changes in that thing. And if you can't observe anything, if you have no perception of anything, then you can't know about all of this stuff, and you can't change it. You can't change that pattern at all. So that is the thing. So most arguments, bad decisions, or self-sabotage happens because people are trapped inside factual and conceptual knowledge. They know things, they just can't see themselves. They don't know about, or they don't really exercise procedural knowledge or metacognition knowledge, and they skip this both. and they know about factual and conceptual knowledge, but they never use procedural or metacognition knowledge in their life at all. When you can relate it with any area of your life, with anything that you are doing in your life. So that is the thing that we can know about from knowledge dimensions, from all of this thinking dimension. So now let's talk about our lows and hots, that is lower order thinking and higher order thinking. We like, it is also very important to know about all of this stuff, so we can combine it later. Okay, so let's talk about our lower order thinking skill. So it is like, you remember thing, you understand thing, and you apply that thing in your life. You can relate to any topic or anything. So this is where 90% of daily human thinking happens, and it's not bad, you need it, but if you never leave it, you never will gonna grow in your life. That is the thing. It is not bad. Lower order thinking is not a bad thing, but you need it, but it is very important to leave it and just grow into another level. So if I say an example of this is that remembering about things. Remember, repeating an opinion you heard on a podcast, and as if it is your own. Second is understand, watching a documentary and feeling educated. This is an example of this. And apply, actually going to gym after watching a fitness video. Most people think reaching apply is the goal, but they tried the thing and they are done with it. But apply is actually just the middle of the ladder. Like, apply is not the last process at all. You are remembering things, you are understanding thing, and you are applying that thing. Yeah, it is very good, but it is just middle of the ladder. And if you are thinking what is next, then be till the end of this video, we will gonna talk about that. So now we will gonna talk about higher order thinking. So it is like analyze, evaluate, and create. That is our 3-step in HOTS. So this is where your thinking stops being borrowed and start being yours. So if we talk about its example, first is analyze, asking yourself why a relationship keeps breaking down the same way. That is analyze example. Second is evaluate, deciding on what you actually believe, not what you were told to believe. That is our evaluate thing. Third is create, so building something original that I talk about every time. So in RBT, in rational behavior therapy, the therapist use this framework in their own therapy. Like, most people in distress are stuck in lower order thinking about their problems. Like, they remember the pain, they understand it, and it exists in their mind every time, but they never analyze why, never evaluate whether their belief about it is even true, and never create a new response to it. You can see this stuff that I'm talking right now in your own family member, in your own relatives, in your own friends, in your own neighborhood, because I see this thing every day in my life, where people are stuck in lower order thinking, and they are not applying higher order thinking in their life at all, where they don't ask why, where they don't ever want to create a new response to their pain. They don't want to forget their pain at all, because it is their everyday thing that I'm talking about. It is really, you can see its example everywhere in the people that you're surrounded with. But if you're really watching my video, then I could say that you really aware about all of this stuff. You can be in lower order thinking, you can be in higher order thinking. It doesn't matter, but what the thing that is matter is being aware about all of this stuff. So whenever things get too bad in your life, you can literally apply all of this stuff. So from this, you understand about why I talk about all of this stuff. Now let's combine the both framework. See, there is 4 knowledge types. and your 6 cognitive levels. So where are you spending most of your mental life? You can ask yourself this question about, like, you can see I already mentioned the 4 knowledge types. I already tell you about 6 cognitive levels that I talk about in lower order thinking and higher order thinking. So you can see every framework right now in your screen, and let's ask yourself, where are you spending most of your mental life? In which state you are literally spending your energy? So you can see this table where in one side there is most people daily thinking, and in right side there is what is actually looks like. So in most people daily thinking, there is factual plus remember thing that is coming, that is scrolling news, absorbing opinions, feeling informed. And second is conceptual plus understand. So its example can be reading self-help content, watching videos, feeling inspired, trying something once, calling themselves changed. And there is third level where metacognition level comes, plus evaluate and create stage comes. So this is a rare stage. This is where real thinkers live. The people you see in social media, or people you admire in your life, they are the ones who seem to have figured life out, that you think about them like that. They are not smarter than you, they just operate in higher order thinking. On this grid you can see more often and more consciously. They literally live very consciously in higher order thinking. That's why it seems very different to you. So you can apply this whole video knowledge in your own life, like factual check, saying that is this actually true, or did I just hear it enough times. Second, like conceptual check, where you can ask yourself that what is this connected to in my own life. Third thing is like procedural knowledge, procedural check, where you can ask yourself, do I actually know how to do this, or do I just know about it. And fourth thing is metacognition check, where you can ask yourself, why I'm thinking this right now, and is this thought really serving me anything. So you can ask this question to your own self. I already tell you that I will never gonna stop making video on thinking and all of this stuff. So in my first video on thinking, I talked about thinking like a thinker. In my second video, I talk about mastering the art of thinking. But none of that works if you don't know about what type of knowledge you are working with in your life and what level your brain is actually operating at. This is the map. Like you have it now. The question is, which box are you living in? That is the question that you have to ask your own self. I already tell you about a lot of things in my video of mastering the art of thinking, and in the video of think like a thinker, where I literally talk about metacognition, about buddhi, chit, all of this stuff. And in this video we also learn about new things about thinking. In the we literally know about all of this stuff that is based on thinking, that is related to thinking, that we literally don't know about from our school or anything like that. So that's why I just come up with all of this theory and just connecting it with neuroscience, and I am creating this video for you to literally you can apply all of this stuff in your life and move forward with your creation in your life, and literally live with your own thought, create things, all of this stuff that I always talk about. So yeah, this is all for this video, and please apply all of this stuff and tell me what you think about thinking in the comment section.